Hey, it's Rod Wilgus here bringing you good news. I was thinking today about a story in the Bible about Joseph in the Old Testament in the book of Genesis. His brothers sold him into slavery and went back and told their dad that their son had been killed, and so he was out of the picture. And he went from that and was working in Potiphar's house and soon became the manager there. And then Potiphar's wife decided she wanted to have him, and he refused, so he ended up in prison for several years. And when he was in prison, he was able to interpret some dreams for some of the king's servants, and to make a long story short, he became the prime minister of Egypt. There was a great drought, and his brothers, who were living in Canaan, had to come to buy some food. So they came, and when Joseph saw them, he recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And so to make a long story short, after their dad died, they thought he was going to take revenge. And so they came and offered themselves to be slaves. But this is what Joseph said. He says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good, because through the terrible thing they did to him, the suffering he went through, he saved his family as well as the rest of the world from starvation." That kind of reminds me that in our lives we will go through things that are sometimes difficult. And in Philippians 1:12, Paul, he's in prison. He's writing to the church in Philippi. And he said this, "I want you to know, dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me here has helped spread the good news or the gospel." So consider this. Whatever you're going through, God will use that so you can spread the good news of what the life of Jesus Christ is like for others. I know that during this time of quarantine and fear and all of that, that I have heard many of your stories, how God has really showed you some things, and you've just become closer to Him, and some have learned how to forgive others, and just so many things. Let's remember that in Romans 8:28, God says that all things will work together for good to them that love God and are called according to His purpose. So that is my word of encouragement today. That's the good news today, that Satan intends to harm you, but God uses it for good. So when you're up against a struggle, just start thanking God and start looking forward to seeing what good is going to come from this. Our Father in heaven, I thank you so much for each one here today. I pray a blessing upon them, and I pray that we would always look and trust in you and know that as your children, things will work together for good. Well, it was good to be with you again. So long. Goodbye. Good news to you. Have a great day. Thank you.